Okay, this is a special intro to Smarkamania because this is hours after we recorded Smarkamania episode about Wrestlemania and the battery's about to die. So now that I've had time to digest it and drink a lot, I mean, just the fact that Roman Reigns got fucking just gutted. How do you feel about that? It's nuts.
Shit.
Like, he can't say believe that anymore. I don't believe shit.
No, he got decimated. He got destroyed.
But I loved it, man. Fucking Rollins is the champ.
Not only... Well, look, the match didn't actually technically end, but we have a new champion. So...
What, is this like a Curtis Axel thing now? It's like, I'm still champ. I never got pinned.
Well, no, it's not like that at all. But like the finish of the match was a new thing that nobody has ever seen before. Not that I know of. It's very... If you look into the sort of...
You cash in at WrestleMania and pin the wrong guy and you get to be champ.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you get when you have so you can't just go into like a linear path and talk about the fucking cashing in of the Money in the Bank. But tonight we saw fucking the match was just still going, and then Rollins' music just plays, and then he comes down, and then he curb stomps fucking Roman Reigns into the mat, and we experienced.
It's fucking cool, right? Because they always seem to view WrestleMania kind of like its own thing.
We experienced the coming of age for the WWE.
Or at least for Rollins, man. It's like last year was like, fucking Daniel Bryan's year. This is like Seth Rollins. He got the win at the end.
I feel like this is the I feel like this is the WWE reboot right now.
Kind of, right?
Like,
it feels like that.
I don't think it's less of like a season finale. I think it was the series finale.
I can't believe they have this much. Like, that's where I feel like Triple H really is in charge. There's no way Vince would have the balls or the foresight to do any of this. No. And Triple H is like, fuck everything. Let's do it.
I'm going to fucking do an outdoor pro. I want to rewatch that WrestleMania just because of the whole, like, the outside effect.
Yeah.
Like,
this is bananas, man. Julia, before you go, do you want to just real quick say hello to the fans since we missed our Super Kicked podcast?
Yeah.
So we just went to a bar and got drunk instead of talking about Super Kicked.
Yeah, I think that was really unfortunate that we didn't do a podcast for that, but stay tuned for the next podcast. In the meantime, this WrestleMania was awesome, so you're in for quite the ride. Enjoy!
I like that.
I like that you said "in the meantime," which is also my favorite song.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Space Hog.
You know what's my favorite song? All right, can you do me a favor? I want you to say "Get him, get him, get him, go, get him, get him, get him, go" in a loop. Can you do that?
Yep. You can take a stab at my ego. Is the first lyric.
So Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
All right, yeah, Smarkamania. We're okay. WrestleMania play sign 31.
Yep.
So I missed all the pre-show stuff. I expected to miss one match. I thought I'd miss the tag match, but I ended up missing two matches because of this pre-show shit.
Okay, it's a good thing that I just found my notes. They only go 3 pages deep, which is reverse the normal Slamboree 2000, the last episode, where I ended up completely obliterated and plastered and drunken and obliterated. I ended up just mumbling and mumbling and mumbling about who God knows what. So
Get him,
go. Bit 'em, bo. You can take a stab at my ego.
You just said the same joke again, just in case the last one gets cut out.
It will get cut out because I created an intro.
This is the future of podcasting. Be both the best and worst podcast at the same time.
Worst in the world. So, why don't we go around the room and introduce ourselves?
All right, so we got classic team of Keith and Jason. I think
I'm
we've been on
Jason.
every episode. No, you haven't. You missed one.
Missed one.
It was a dedication to me, to be fair, though.
Only I've been on every episode. We also have
Alistair.
and
Don Draper. I don't care about other people's feelings. I like to smoke and drink a lot. And I am in the advertising industry.
dude, the 70s is coming, Don Draper. Get ready for your flared pants and your fucking sideburns. You're not going to be cool soon. just saying. We heard from Julia, who has to go.
Down.
And you want to participate at all?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm Jerry Lowe, and I like long walks, and I like to go to the mall.
And by walks, you mean dicks.
Yeah, well, close, but longer. And, yeah, I like shopping in things, and have coffee.
By coffee, you mean dicks, right?
Double long espresso. With, creamy latte. Well, that's just me.
Dude, I never even thought of that.
I mean,
And a couple of
I mean
coffee
that
beans in
donut.
your mouth, right?
Man, when I was a barista in Vancouver, it was on Davie Street, which is like Church Street in Vancouver.
I remember you.
Man. Every time someone asked for a double long,
You put your beans in his mouth, right?
I had no idea. All the people that wanted double longs, I didn't
got
even get
it.
it. It's too young and innocent. So WrestleMania
On the
31.
pre-show.
Jason's fed up.
I'm not fed up at all. I haven't been fed enough.
Fed up.
Wow. Anyway, we got to see a classic. It wasn't really classic. It was completely new. J&J Security actually interacted with the Stooges. Mm-hmm. Joe Briscoe and Pat Patterson.
Was this backstage? Was this... Man, I didn't see the backstage of
The
WrestleMania
whole
31.
first hour,
What was it like?
hour 1 of 6, was just Renee Young talking a lot next to Corey Graves. And then they kept it going to the backstage, but nothing was happening. It was just a bunch of suits walking around.
Dude, imagine Renee Young and Corey Graves as kids. Pretty people.
Yeah, they'd be,
right?
they'd be super good looking.
I'd like to watch them get made as well.
That's the end of the first hour of WrestleMania. Hour 2 of WrestleMania. It's a tag team 4-way.
Tag team 4-way.
so pretty much...
Fatal 3-way.
So yeah, this was pretty much the best outcome that could have happened here is just retaining, because we got somehow Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, which are like two of the greatest wrestlers right now, have the tag belts, which is...
Can I say something about Cesaro? His big scary move where he grabs people by their ankles and spins them around.
Oh, the Cesaro swing?
That's gotta stop.
That's not that cool, but...
He didn't do that in that match. His big
No.
scary move now, though, is the European uppercut out of nowhere.
Good, because his spinning people around, his scary move is the same thing my dad used to do with me when we were playing Airplane. So, come on, Cesaro, get it together.
His uppercut is sweet, though, especially when he
it's
catches
great.
people
But
with
that
it.
spinning people, that spinning thing's gotta go.
I heard him say...
You should say alley kick when he does it.
I heard him say in an interview, though, he said that kind of shit goes over better in Europe because it's like a power thing. Like, it literally takes a lot of muscles to do that. But in America, everyone's like, who gives a fuck?
America, fuck yeah. Coming again to save the motherfucking day.
We'll get to America. But yeah, so it was the Usos, it was
New
Cesaro
Day.
Kid, New Day,
Yeah,
and
Los Matadores.
literally the Matadores. Like, everyone else is a jobber idiot except maybe the Usos. So I'm just really glad they retained.
This is at the point in the night when I realized that the entrance was fucking out of control. You guys hadn't gotten here yet, but me and Moriarty here, we were fucking just looking at the entrance and we were seeing WrestleMania and a giant play sign. I just wanted to go over and touch it. I feel like you did as well.
Yeah, I did.
Man, it must have been so bright at that time
It
of
was
day.
it like for this match and the armbar match, which was the Battle Royal. Spoiler alert: they spilt the donuts.
I just took the load-bearing donut out of
Sure.
and the whole box fell to the floor.
The podcast got bored of me talking about wrestling. By the way.
Now here's where a little behind the scenes. I'm wearing Jason's Rey Mysterio mask. This is where you learn about the trials and travails of Rey Mysterio's life.
I believe the word you're looking for is tribulations.
It isn't.
Topless.
It is not.
donuts.
Well, yeah, Rey Mysterio doesn't wear a shirt,
Right.
so I had to do full Rey Mysterio. But it's hard to eat a donut. Look at this.
Lucas 619.
It's hard to eat a donut. Also, he's got to go to sleep each night knowing he just murdered someone.
Yeah, he killed a guy. Think about what you're laughing at.
But also hard to eat donuts. So it's like life is hard.
Paid to murder someone.
If you ever try to drink a beer through a Mankind mask, it's super easy. I think that's why he was Mankind. Anyway, Natalia looked fucking phenomenal tonight. She came out in this great...
Came out with boobs.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize she got a boob job, but until Total Divas, Paige referenced them. She's like, "Hey, nice new tits." That's why Paige is so great on that show.
She has had giant fake titties for like a long time. Like when girls who have like pecs get like big boob jobs, they clearly have pec boob jobs. Anyway, the Los Matadores did like a sick code breaker double move.
That's the thing where there was like 90 guys involved in one move.
No, that was just the Los Matadores double code breaker. Natalia ends up putting Los Torito, or El Torito as we call him, in the sharpshooter, which was real fun. Then that's when they did the 4-man Frankensteiner suplex.
That's the thing I was thinking of. Yeah, that thing was just confusing to even figure out what was happening.
It was great. They all kind of piled up on each other. Like the middle Frankensteiner part got the worst of it. They kind of fell on their necks. So I guess at the end of the day, Tyson and Cesaro just kind of won that match.
So that's good. I'm glad they won.
Yeah. I'll just get through this real fast. The armbar battle royal was such that you had all the mid-card jobbers come in. They wrestled a pretty good match. They murder Axel fucking just right out of the gate. Axelmania dies tonight at WrestleMania 31.
I don't know that they're giving Axelmania the credit it deserves, because literally, like, the only person Craig had any investment in, our friend Craig, is Curtis Axel, and he missed the whole match because it was a pre-show match.
It's so funny that Craig just focused on that, because I completely disregarded it.
I think it's because Craig was here for the Royal Rumble, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, Curtis Axel never got eliminated," and we all were like, "Yeah, well, who cares?"
Yeah, it's
and then it became a plot. So he's like, "Wow, I can't believe that."
He's doing this shit with Hogan on Raw last week. Like, what?
Man, and fucking, did you see that when Hogan and Snoop Dogg beat up Curtis Axel? Snoop Dogg has less muscles than me. He is the least muscled human being.
No, he's the complete polar opposite of his father. Like, his hairline's bad.
Oh, you mean Curtis Axel? I was like, who's Snoop Dogg's father? Was he some muscled up guy?
You're talking about Jonathan Dog.
Yeah, Wolf Dog.
The junkyard dog with Snoop Dogg's dad.
That's racist. Anyway, we saw a really good Fandango and Adam Rose double kick in the face out of the ring.
Oh, that was crazy.
Big Show skins the cat at one point.
Hey, did you ever think of this? If there were only... okay, Alistair, now you gotta follow me on this.
That's not Alistair.
If there were only white people in the world, there wouldn't be racism. So whose fault is it?
White people.
Fair enough.
Wow.
So we coming down to a final three.
Hey, by the way, I'm a Mexican wrestler right now, so I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, you're super Spanish.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye,
Bye, Julia.
See you at Super Kicked, or before there. Oh, no, see you at Fast and Furious.
Yes. Yeah, and see you all on the podcast in a few weeks. Goodbye.
So,
Yeah.
what were you saying?
Nothing. I'm still trying to eat this donut. I have to break it into pieces.
Fucking put it, yeah.
So that's the thing, is I feel like there's a lot of podcasts in the world. The only way to stand out is to be literal
Behind the
garbage.
Drunk as hell. I'm cornering the drunk as hell market on podcasts. So the final three comes down to Mizdow versus Big Show.
Oh yeah, this is the Battle Royal.
Mizdow ends up killing the Miz. Comes down to Miz and Show.
Because my prediction was Mizdow. I was like,
Mine too.
It feels like this Mizdow thing. Just do it already, for fuck's sake. Just make them fight each other. So I thought this was going to be the start of
There
that.
was a little bit of that. Mizdow had a little thing. Mizdow ended up eliminating Miz, I think, right?
Yeah, fucking Big Show won. Big Show won the fucking Battle Royal. The Intercontinental title ladder match was next.
Yeah, this is the first official match of WrestleMania 31.
Yeah. It was Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett, who is the champion, versus Dolph Ziggler, versus Stardust, versus Harper, versus R-Truth, versus Dean Ambrose. So, the first thing I can even think of or remember or even bring up is Stardust had his own ladder.
And also there's bedazzled ladders and everything.
Yeah.
It was like a bunch of teens just designed WrestleMania ladder matches.
It was the cutest ladder I've ever seen.
Well, they ran out. They needed one more ladder, and the only store at the mall that had it was Hot Topic. So They had to get it there.
But the great juxtaposition to that bedazzled ladder is Wade Barrett runs over and fucking kicks out one of the rungs and uses it as a murder weapon.
Man.
Just beat the hell.
Isn't that kind of sad? So last year was all about Daniel Bryan, right? Like he ruled the whole WrestleMania. And I just heard him, Sam Roberts was on like Radio Row, like interviewing tons of wrestlers. And when he was interviewing Daniel Bryan was like he acknowledged, he's like, yeah, it kind of sucks that I went from main event last year to weird intercontinental match this year. But we're going to make it match of the night. We're going to do this shit. And all anyone remembers is that Stardust had a diamond-studded ladder.
There's that, and the next point I want to bring up where fucking Dean Ambrose, like I was saying, like they put that ladder deliberately between the ring apron and the fucking barricade.
Just to end Dean Ambrose's career.
Yeah. And I kept saying, oh, they're going to use that. They're going to use that in some way.
That wasn't the diamond ladder, though, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was just a ladder that was set up deliberately
It
before
was a
that.
gimmick
I want
ladder,
to see the
though.
diamond ladder again.
Yeah.
So fucking, I think Wade Barrett again. Fucking, who does a power bomb in this day and age? Oh, I think it was Luke Harper. Fucking just destroys Dean Ambrose through that ladder between the ring apron and the barricade.
Sounds
Ladder
like
was
something
actually
you do.
broken in half, too.
Yep, and his neck was broken in half.
And also, what about the kissing match?
The super.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote down super kisses from Ziggler and Bryan.
Yeah, so that was one.
This is probably the most like romantic ladder matches of all time.
Because I just.
Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon.
I wouldn't even say romantic. I would say sensual. Like it was like an erotic encounter.
That's like one internet rumor I heard that I thought sounded kind of plausible was like they would do one of those both guys win thing with Bryan and Ziggler so they could, because they wrestled on Raw, they wrestled on SmackDown, like maybe they could have a feud going on. And I thought, yeah, maybe that will happen. But no, Bryan did win, which I'm cool with. But yeah, like they're both, him and Ziggler were at the top of the ladder.
Just headbutting the shit out of one another. Like they were
was so
punching and
dumb.
punching. It was like doing the fake like punch and block. And there's going to be GIF on the internet in the morning of them just literally headbutting each other, just like boom, boom. It's pretty good.
Also, Ziggler and Luke Harper almost won the first Intercontinental Siamese Twins Intercontinental
That's
ladder
true.
match of all time.
Ziggler jumped on Harper's back as they climbed the ladder, and Alistair looked to me and he was like, and he wondered,
both win?
do they both get the championship if one of them gets it while the other person's on the back? The first tag team Intercontinental Championship.
That was a weird thing too, right? So for literally decades now, since WrestleMania 10, everyone has been climbing ladders at like 1 mile an hour, like the slowest. And Ziggler, this whole match, just could not climb a ladder
His
fast.
gimmick is basically, I'm the one that can run up the ladder at a reasonable pace. Even Dean Ambrose is able to climb up a ladder what seems to be reasonable, but like when you're yelling at a guy in a ladder match, to just fucking just go up the ladder, like it's just you're right there. Ziggler does that at like 3 times the pace that you even imagine that thought to have happen.
And he uses the top rung that says this is not a step. He does everything. He's crazy.
Yeah, he's a rebel.
So at the end of the day, basically Wade Barrett fucking became a nothing champion out of that, and that sucks. Does anybody, the back plot of the whole match was they just kept, like, R-Truth was barely in that match, and he started this whole feud. They started arguing with one another about who has the Intercontinental title. They did a situation where one person would go into the ring, even though Wade Barrett was the champion, but it would be like R-Truth comes down. He's just holding the Intercontinental title, even though he stole it from another guy, and they would like wrestle each other. And then like the other guys in that match came down during that match and like did like a jokey sort of comedy bit where they all just like stole it from one another. But R-Truth was the one that stole it the most. He came down one night on like SmackDown. Was it SmackDown where he had it in the back of his coat? Did you see that?
I think it was Raw.
Yeah, was it Raw?
I think it was Raw, yeah. Unless they just recapped it on Raw, because I never watched SmackDown, so.
Yeah, me either.
In any way racial,
What do you mean?
stereotypical, the black guy stealing the belt?
Yes.
That's racist that you gotta point out that that's racist.
Yeah, that's true.
So, what do you guys recall about, and this happened well after we even watched the entire pay-per-view, we get to the point where Seth Rollins and Randy Orton happened. How did you feel about that match?
Well, it would have been great if we could have seen it because the internet died.
No, we watched it just recently.
Well, no, but that's when the internet went out.
Yeah, like when we were watching it originally, and like the internet went out.
Remember when you got really mad?
See, the way I feel about this match is a lot different because I experienced this match after the end of WrestleMania, right? So you couldn't get the full spectrum of how you wanted to feel about Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. You knew that Randy Orton won, and Seth Rollins is
The champion.
Yeah.
Orton beat
And
the champion
so-
after he was the champion.
So how are we supposed to go about the match?
Well, we did rewatch it. That's why I was asking, because the match after that, when I tethered my fucking cell phone to my fucking PlayStation.
Yeah, when you
Probably
get
cost you about $30 just to do that one match.
Yeah, but it was only like 15 minutes long, so that's fine.
so then we had Sting Triple H. So
Wow.
so who do you think had the better entrance? Sting with his weird
shit,
taiko
yeah.
drums, or
No,
Triple H with
yeah.
the Terminator?
Triple H obviously had the fucking Terminator entrance.
He had the most Terminator entrance I've ever seen.
Yeah,
For me, he had the most polarizing entrance of all time because it was so shit at the start. And then he had the badass fucking Terminator.
I just don't like how it's tied into some dumb movie that no one's gonna remember. Like, it's so temporary and so
You
sellout.
don't know why one of the biggest main events of whatever the fuck pay-per-view or internet or WWE network is tied into one of the other movies.
by the way.
It's
That's the thing too. Is
because
like
of society.
Like, no one remembers Terminator 3. No one remembers Terminator Salvation. I guarantee no one's going to remember Terminator Genesis. It's going to be a piece of shit. Just like every other Terminator movie since 2. It's going to suck balls. And
What
then
if-
people are going to watch this
Tied in wrestling
WrestleMania.
to some like Wes Anderson movie.
What if Terminator Genesis actually wins Best Picture next year?
In Terminator, see, that's the thing with Terminator movies is
Furious 7.
That won't happen. Furious 7 is my least favorite movie I've ever not watched. Also, I'll never watch it. And
Anywho,
I just think Terminator is like Alien. Terminator just needs to fucking die. It hasn't been good since Terminator 2.
Did anyone else notice while Sting came to the ring, and then the Terminator thing played? He was watching there. He's like, I thought I had the douchiest entrance, and now I'm gonna have to sit here and watch this for 10 minutes. Like, what the fuck am I doing here?
That's weird too. Like, that, I guess that says something about me, is that I honestly respect wrestling more than the Terminator franchise. I'm like, why are you making wrestling so stupid for this shitty movie?
it would be completely different if it was like the 20th anniversary of Terminator 2. And you bring out John Patrick, Robert Patrick. You bring him out.
Yeah, he was in 12 rounds with John Cena. He knows them.
See, exactly. We're already fantasy booking the fucking Marvel universe of WWE better than they are, and they're not even building a universe. My point is, god damn it, literally, fucking Sting and Triple H fight each other, and they get winded almost immediately, like 5 minutes in. They're real bored of this match themselves. And then do you know what they have to do to keep our attention, even though we're fucking, holy shit, this is Sting versus Triple H.
Is to bring in their best friends.
So, naturally, the Road Dogg Jesse James, Badass Billy Gunn, and X-Pac, whose move
Waltman.
is the X... Yep.
He is X-Pac, a.k.a. Sean Waltman.
AKA 1, 2, 3 kid.
Old AKA six-pack.
I was thinking
Six-pack.
when it was so.
A.k.a. China vagina fucker.
Old backdoor to China, or fucking One Night in China.
So DX came down and NWO came down, and it was 6 people. And I was like, these people are all Triple H's friends. I was hoping they would team up and become a new group called 6.
Yep. Or, like...
And 6 could be their leader.
All beat the shit out of Sting.
Yeah, I honestly thought that was what was going to happen, is like just pile against Sting. Everyone's
Or
against
they all beat each other off.
Sting. Sure. Yeah, no, it made double no sense though, right? Because not only did the NWO really not get along with Sting, he was like literally the only guy that pretty much resisted
But I was
them.
like, why? Okay, the NWO comes out to save Sting, but I was like, oh, more of Triple H's friends are coming out to the ring. So then what happens? And then they fight each other, of course.
And then on Raw, do you remember, as recently as the previous Raw to this, Sting was like, I'm not here to represent WCW because that would be ridiculous at this point. And what is he doing at WrestleMania but representing WCW? Eric Bischoff himself should have come down on Ted Turner's back.
But that's
so
why
ridiculous.
I called the fact that Triple H would win, because he put the final nail in the coffin for WCW. They fuck with my girl.
Because there's a mirror, like, above the toilet, so I can watch the pee come out of my penis.
You know, we've actually talked about Jason's bathroom before, how there's
We've talked about my penis too, so.
there's
Speaking of bathroom, Kid Ink and Sasha Grey performs tonight at WrestleMania.
We had Travis Barker just start playing the drums. Then we had, what was her name? Sasha Luklakis. I wrote down this is all I'm going to say about this performance. It was the band performance. Alleged band is mostly a DJ, Travis Barker and some girl who couldn't sing. And then Ace 3 or Ace Texnick or Kid Cunty.
Kid Cunty?
Kid Cunty.
Kid Cunty.
I fucking love Kid Cunty and penis. So yeah, so I wrote down literally the word shit music. The next contest after that.
Semi-accurate.
Alcohol Wonderlust, that's all I'm saying. The Divas match. I literally just wrote down the word Divas, but I think that we should give this its due.
I did not realize how hot and talented all the girls were, and AJ is really hot.
They really are pretty good because, like, AJ and Paige are both legitimately good, and the Bellas, especially Nikki, have kind of gotten good.
I think Nikki has actually gotten better than Brie, because all Brie has now is Brie mode. And the thing about yelling Brie mode, being a smart male wrestling fan who watches fucking Total Divas, is I know that I it's not like when you're a kid, it's like, Daddy, what does that mean? When she says Brie? And the dad's like, oh, that just means she's in the mode. She's in her mode. That doesn't mean anything. That has to do with getting way too blackout, which me as your father has never done. I do it every day. And we just, as me and your mother, we don't watch Brie mode at all, except for when we make weird animated porn out of it, and also love dolls based on the mangas.
It was a great match. It was a great match. They did great.
Wait, you kind of brought me back down to earth there. I think I fucked up by trying to respect this match.
The thing is,
No, you didn't. I just brought you back down.
I really do think there's going to be a time in the very near future that women's wrestling is going to be awesome, because in NXT I'm into it. Every time I'm like, this is the best, but it's just not there yet for the main
Can I
product.
ask, has there ever been 2 women's matches in WrestleMania?
I don't think so, right?
And are we ready for it?
No,
If it-
actually,
there is.
there may have. I was just gonna say there may have been back in like the Attitude Era, but it would be like a lingerie match and then a legitimate women's
then a
match.
gravy match.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I retort to what one of you said. In such a male-dominant sport and such a male-dominant kind of emotion, whatever, I don't know. Women, okay, I don't think women's wrestling will ever be exciting to men that much. Besides for the fact that they're beautiful, and it would only be the top women athletes that. Oh, okay. This gets into different. This might be a whole different podcast.
Let me ask you this question. Well, this is the only wrestling podcast you're ever going to ask this question on.
No,
so
let's get into women's
let me
podcast.
ask you a question. What, like, do you watch wrestling in general? Like, in your day-to-day life, do you watch professional wrestling? So...
See,
Okay, sorry,
I
shit,
totally
I cut you
no,
off.
I totally would have
I
been.
retort just because in sports it's very male dominant, and there's such like there's I can't get any of the words right.
This is
right
what
now.
it comes down to. This is what it comes down to. Even if
Dick, pussy, asshole, balls, all degeneration, fuck.
if a woman wanted to pee here at Jason's house, she could not watch it come out like I can.
No matter how many mirrors there were.
Yeah.
And you need a floor mirror for that
You need
shit.
a floor mirror. You don't have one of those yet.
I know exactly where you were going. I understand the philosophy that you're...
Depends where you stand.
That's the thing too, is like
when you pee downwards into a mirror, you see like the pee coming up to your face from the hole that it could be like some sort of piss hole. It could be some sort of like woman's vagina like piss hole. It could be also like a hot, like real hard dick, like a man penis, like with some piss coming out of the end of the dick.
Why is it so hot?
Like a sweet hot man dick.
Why it's so hot?
Whatever, the hot woman penis or whatever.
Hot woman penis. Okay.
totally. I think the thing too is like
Also, yeah, I
like
just
women's
don't think
wrestling has been
is ever gonna be
yeah, it's been a waste of time for literally
feeling we're still
30
talking about
years.
Orton and Rollins.
And that's the thing. I feel like if I only watch wrestling here and again, I would absolutely agree. I'm just like, women's wrestling is ridiculous. What is this? But this
ridiculous. It's just
They just need like
It won't
Ronda
have-
Rousey or something like that to like.
If
come on
only
board.
Ronda Rousey could come into the show and just save everything like
it
right
just
now.
doesn't have the same appeal as a bunch of stronger dudes that can throw each other further.
Let me
and-
get back to my original point. The reason why I
Yeah,
asked you
yeah,
if you
yeah.
even watch professional, do you even watch, bro? The reason why I asked you in such a fucking definitive manner is because I am the champion of the world. Definitive manner is a trigger word for me. But no, I wasn't defending at all. The reason why I asked you if you watch wrestling is because I've been choking down shitty women's wrestling matches for as long as I can remember. And dicks. Since the last time women's wrestling was of some value, when like
Like with the
incredibly
fabulous moolah.
Okay.
Like, wait a minute.
fucking
Yeah, there's this thing.
Wendy Richter.
They've got this show now, this show NXT, where it's like their developmental show, but it's on their network, and it's like this little fragile thing that might not work, but in that one show, in that one context, the women's matches are good. I know it sounds
okay,
crazy, but they
no, no.
really are.
My retort is that I don't think that those aren't entertaining at all.
Right.
I'm actually approaching it from a way that I watch all sports, and when I see the woman's counterpart of basketball, football, just
Right.
etc. Right?
I will say
It's just
those-
not
the
always
counterpart
when
of
you.
those things are super lame.
Yeah, like in any and I'm not even saying they're lame. They're not even lame. It just when you can kind of see the peak of athleticism in men, it's a lot higher. Just like we're a lot stronger, faster, and da da da.
That
It's
is
just
true.
genetics, and that's why we enjoy it as much. It has nothing to
Sounds a little
do.
Hitlery.
Yeah, no.
I think that's true, and I think
Also, I would say this: Ronda Rousey would fucking kick all 5 of our asses right now by herself.
I
But
kinda
I'm just
feel
saying,
like
in
maybe-
general, when it comes to men's versus women's sports, you always would want to watch men's sports because it will always be that
much better. That's
I
true.
will say though, there are women's like wrestling.
Well, I think that's where-
divisions like Shining and they're all called something stupid, and they're all anagrams.
Glow.
Glow. But Glow has like a definitive lineage. A
Cunt.
lot.
Have you ever seen Cunt?
No, but it sounds like the pornographic version, or maybe like old OD.
That's where-
There's a bunch of ODB
just-
style women.
Like the
it's
smart
only-
money is that women's wrestling will never work, but it might because wrestling's fake. That's the only hope it has is
Wrestling's
they could.
fake.
Yeah, like you're right though.
That,
like
that ladder that Dean Ambrose went through, that wasn't real. But
That sledgehammer that Triple H was holding was super real.
yeah, like women's athleticism, it's never going to be the same. But maybe because if they gave them good storylines and shit, maybe just
I'm just
maybe.
thinking, no. It's just because it's that polarizing effect, period. If we only had women playing basketball, wrestling, baseball, all that, it would be very entertaining to us. Very. But only because it's just a polarizing effect between men and women. That's it.
It's like when you're at the strip club and you're like, "Ah, these chicks suck. Look at the stuff those dudes can do on the pole."
I wish men were doing this way better at this strip club.
Exactly. If we took away all women from strip clubs and we only had men, we'd be like, "Man, these
amazing.
dudes are fucking awesome."
I have 4 really good examples of the reasons why strip clubs should be inhabited by females in the.
They should live there.
And did you just like blow your load or like you?
Man, I did see one
I think
time.
we all lost our like just watching.
I cummed.
I did see one time.
I just want to end the Divas match conversation. I just really want to end with this one final thought. The word I wrote down and the conversation we got out of it was divas. That's all I wrote about that match.
Yeah. It has a lot to do with just us being men and being.
It's sexy as
Drop
hell.
the divas, go with women's championship. You gotta go back.
And then you can take it way more seriously, but when you have the Divas title on it and they're super sexy, it's like it's hard not to like sexualize it. And when you sexualize it, it fucking subtracts. And then when you're bored because you're like, oh, that's not sexy to me. I'm not sexualized by that. I don't want to have the sex with the match I'm watching, so I'm gonna go to the washroom and smoke cigarettes and piss my pants.
Literally, Seth Rollins shows more skin than that.
Subconsciously.
If I'm gonna jerk off to somebody, I mean, come on.
Seth Rollins is a real sexy turbo stripper.
Speaking of sex, do you guys ever think of Rusev and Lana when they have sex?
I do all the time.
That's gotta be horrifying.
You know what's
Why?
weird though? When
Might
I
be
think
sensual.
about them together, I think of
tear up my dick. Literally, like a horror movie.
I always think of Jack
I would be
Swagger's
smiling.
music playing though, which makes no sense.
Lana Cross.
That's probably why she wasn't at Raw the last 2 weeks. Some sex-related injury.
No, she was filming a shit movie, which will probably have a sex-related injury written into the plot. The following contest schedule for One Fall is for the control of the United States. Introducing first, Rusev. He came out in a
Can I
tank.
say how offensive everything about this match was?
It's so bad.
So bad.
Yeah, like I predicted that Cena would win, but I was so just incensed by Cena's entrance that I switched that I hoped Rusev would win.
See, you have to get desensitized by wrestling.
I can't.
You
No,
have to vote. It's not
But
even
I hate
voting.
America
You have to
so
predict.
much.
You have to predict who's going to win, and you have to take out your "I want this person to win" from it. You have to know who's going to win, and that's why I went 5.5 and like 8 or whatever.
We gave you that half.
I know.
No,
Well,
dude, I was not a popular man when I lived in the States because the whole time I just told every American I knew, I'm like, your country's the worst. I hate it. And this just reminded me of all of that. God damn Cena. Oh my God. It was the most American entrance I've ever seen in my life.
But it wasn't even like he didn't get the good entrance. There were some pretty good entrances tonight, and they were the opposite of what we thought the epic entrances for those people would be.
Top
And
2 worst entrances, Triple
See-
H and Cena.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cena had a video package of American things, and it really played out like America, fuck yeah.
I don't think they realized they did that either. I really hope they did.
Reagan, Facebook, books.
I really hope the editor did that on purpose. Like,
Macintosh computers.
I really hope Triple H and Vince were like, "Oh, make something American," and then this dude's like, "This is fucking stupid. I'm just gonna put something together that's like really dumb."
I'm quitting tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm trying to get fired. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
But Rusev got the fucking entrance. He had like the fucking old school Russian theme played by some band that's old school and plays the Russian theme. I don't know.
When you say Russian theme, you mean Russian national anthem?
Yep. The theme of Russia.
He came out,
When Russia comes down to the ring with Stalin as his manager.
he came out in a tank,
Yep.
drinking vodka, playing Tetris. It was
Yep.
crazy.
He was juggling Rubik's Cubes.
It went Russian national anthem, Tetris theme, Tetris B theme, and then his actual theme.
Yeah, not even the main Tetris song. that you
Thinking the
know.
whole time, I'm fucking from Bulgaria. Like, what the fuck am I doing here?
The Bulgarian Wonder Vice or whatever. So anyway, we got Rusev versus Cena, and I have less to say about that Divas match. I think it's because we got to socioeconomical reasons for talking about the Divas. How did you feel about the fucking literally political implications of a live 9/11?
I really do like. I don't know. I guess it's weird because when I was a kid, I actually wished I had been born in America. I was like, I can't believe I'm Canadian. This is bullshit.
Spoiler alert, so did I. I was raised by American television, and
Yeah,
I
right?
always thought in my head, like, maybe
media-wise, America is
maybe
a
I'm
lot more
adopted
awesome.
from an American family.
Right.
I get this American television so much. Did
Yeah.
you feel that same way?
Yeah, and then like you get comics like Preacher that are all about America, and like Ayn Rand books or shit. I don't know. I'm just like America really
I
is
fucking
better
love
than
Lost and The Walking Dead, and those are both fucking metaphors for the United States.
But then, yeah, like in 2008, I moved to New York. I was there for a year and a half, and I was like, holy God, these people suck. They don't, and that's what I guess it's one thing to suck. They don't know that they suck. That's what really killed me.
But did you get to that realization about like the human race in general when you moved to Toronto for the first time? Because that's my phase. I haven't lived in an American city yet. I fully plan on doing it because I just, Ohio. I think Ohio.
The thing that really broke my back,
Green Bay.
it was literally just the post office. I was at the post office in Queens, and everyone was miserable and yelling at each other and being shitty Americans. And I was a polite Canadian, and it was hard. It was hard to do.
It's not hard to do. Being a polite Canadian.
It's hard in America. Trust me, they're such
But I've
assholes.
been at the United States, and polite Canadians are
Don't say
usually.
America, say New York.
Yeah, or New York, I guess.
I've been
but
to
then
other fucking states before, man. I've been in fucking Las Vegas, Nevada. Oh man, Las Vegas is where I asked my fucking fiance to fucking marry me there.
Really?
Fucking, I was at this Grand Canyon, and they fucking had the sunset going in the sky, and all my kids fucking run around like geckos, and I fucking got down on one knee, and I was like, Daddy, why don't you fucking marry me?
Did you? It wasn't at Universal Studios when Jaws jumps out of the water.
No, I've never been to Universal Studios.
Say.
Yeah.
I said, hey.
What'd she say?
No, I said, Madison, will you marry me? And she said,
she's like,
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
I'm Daniel Bryan of the Daniel Bryans.
Anyway, the point I was trying to get to is I really wanted Cena to lose, and he didn't. That's all.
I knew Cena would win, and the reason why is because when I was typing in my prediction onto the Wrestle Club wrestling site, I typed Rusev versus, it auto-corrected Cena, and then it was like, oh, lol, Cena wins. And then that also auto-corrected to lol, Cena wins. So it was sort of destiny that he won.
That's fair.
Cena's horrible.
He's terrible. But, he might be... He might bring...
We forgot the ass slapping for the Divas match.
He might bring some prestige back to the United States title, and that's sort of, I think, what it was about.
Yeah, no, that's
obviously.
right.
Have you ever looked at AJ Lee for like an extended period of time and like just, what would it be like if she was my girlfriend, or what would it be like if I found what hotel she was at or whatever?
And then you fucking murdered her at her own hotel, and then you pretended like you were your own mom, and then you murdered her sister after that, and her boyfriend at the time.
We've all
true,
been
though.
there.
Yeah, we've all been there.
But yeah, no, it's true about Cena. I mean, despite for that particular match, whatever, fuck that shit. Actually, I'm really glad that Cena has the U.S. title and Bryan has the Intercontinental title, because it's so cool, because suddenly those two belts right away are like real belts. Like now they actually mean something, and it matters who has them, and I think that's awesome. I'm really glad.
For how long?
Yeah, I really think they should let both those guys just hold on to them for a few months and really build that reputation that these are belts that actually matter. Because, I mean, I love Bad News Barrett and shit, but he doesn't need a belt. Fuck him. He's just some jerk who has a catchphrase. Who gives a shit?
Well, the heavyweight championship. Well, Rollins has it now, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I mean, I guess that's
It's going to
getting
be
to the end,
full time
but
now.
I really thought Brock was going to keep the belt. That was weird, but we'll get
We're
there.
way too ahead.
Oh.
The next thing that came up was the Ronda Rousey, Stephanie.
Ronda Rousey.
Stephanie. The Ronda Rousey Stephanie McMahon altercation. So what ended up happening?
The Rock and
You
Stephanie.
didn't even set it up properly.
Sorry, Triple H and Stephanie come down to the ring, and they tell the whole audience that
The Rock and Triple H.
we own
We gotta
them.
edit this now.
They were talking about just like, oh, there's 80,000 people here. And they were just bragging about how great WrestleMania is and blah, blah, blah. And how they're doing such a great job. WWE under their leadership is thriving and da-da-da-da-da. Then The Rock came down and was like, you guys are fuck. You guys can go, you guys can just go and fuck.
You fuck. You guys are fuck.
So after the Rock is like, you fucking guys, he gets out of the ring. He's like, you know what? You think you own these people? I'm gonna find somebody that can own you. And he just goes and he starts pointing at fans. He just starts pointing at people in the front row.
He finds God in the crown.
He finds God in the crown is way better. God in the crown is fucking sounds way cooler. So he gets God in the crown, and it's Ronda Rousey, and he's just like, "Come with me, darling. I got something to show you." Takes her into the ring. Of course,
Nails her.
he doesn't nail her.
Oh shit.
He brings her into the ring, introduces her to Stephanie and Triple H. They sort of have an interaction that involves Ronda Rousey just sort of being there, standing tough, and
beautiful.
and Stephanie McMahon starts to get all indignant. Triple H at this point has walked away, and after that, Ronda Rousey gets into an altercation with like The Rock attacks Triple H as the face for some reason. Triple H gets beaten down, and then gets a glorious hip toss from Ronda Rousey. Like, that was interesting. Is that how you saw it as well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Rousey herself, she could have been a little more hitty or whatever. But yeah, it was fine. It was cool. If this is setting up for literally next year at WrestleMania, I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah,
this is a pretty cool thing.
They've done worse year-long things, like the year-long wait for fucking The Rock and Cena, and then they just do it again the following year.
So what's your take overall on Rousey potentially joining WWE?
Like, she's not a WWE superstar. I think she might be brought out in like a part-time capacity.
She's like the girl Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, pretty much. It'd be really interesting though if she signed, like if that was supposed to be them telling us that she signed with the WWE now, and tomorrow night on Raw, she's going to come out and cut a promo and then fight like Paige or Brie Bella or something. Brie Bella has become
Ronda.
You've been straight Ronda Rousey'd. That's my Paul Heyman. So anyway, just to get off of that and just
I was glad too that The Rock did not, like, they disconnected The Rock from Reigns. It's done with this silly shit of like, hey, everyone will like Roman Reigns. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing with Roman Reigns, is jumping ahead a bit because we're talking about The Rock. Yeah. So they did this whole thing where like, let's get Reigns over by, associating him with The Rock. I wish they had held on to the Dean Ambrose connection. Like, obviously Rollins is gone. He betrayed the Shield. He's done. But if they had kept Reigns and
lost
Ambrose,
that fucking ladder match, which like Dean Ambrose might be injured at this point. Like, who even know? Like, he's fucked.
But I feel like that would have been so cool because like with the CM Punk podcast where he said like they were always like make Reigns look strong, make Reigns look strong. I would love it so much if they went the opposite way because Reigns got his ass kicked anyway.
Oh my god! Like let's just cut that there because we have a lot of things to say.
Yeah, I'll get back to it then when we get there.
We're real close to the main event. We can glaze over this real quick because it was The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. It was a fucking great match. Like, it was a classic fucking. Like, I don't know if it really made Bray Wyatt the face of fear when Bray Wyatt like talks all this shit for weeks and weeks, and then Undertaker comes down and he's just like, I'm the Undertaker, and Bray Wyatt cowers in fear, and then they just do their finishers to each other for like 20 minutes. Like, it really felt like an old school WrestleMania match.
What I love about Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt was pretty much single-handedly the guy that got me back into wrestling. I don't know that he's my favorite, like, currently, but he was the guy that got me back in. And I love that, like, he just laughed. He's like, I can't believe it. All this bullshit I did to make the Undertaker come back worked. Like, he's just laughing.
The narrative of it was phenomenal.
And I love that it doesn't matter that Wyatt loses. He lost to Cena, he lost to Undertaker, and it just doesn't matter. Like, he's just not that kind of character. It just doesn't matter. He's not going to stop.
It's not even a situation where like he loses all these matches and gets pushed down to the mid card. He is the he's Undertaker and Kane combined. He's not even those guys at all. He's a completely new entity of darkness.
And that's why, like, we did our little predictions for tonight. And even though I love Wyatt so much, I literally have a follow the buzzard's wallet.
But I would say he would fit in the Attitude Era more than some of our superstars. That we actually, he would fit better than Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton.
He is like he's like almost silly. He's like cartoonish.
Roman Reigns.
Oh,
it's not silly. He just has an almost like more authentic personality than a lot of our superstars.
I love where you went with that, because all the guys you named after Bray Wyatt are guys that would not excel in the Attitude Era.
Not at all, because they're just like the clean cut athletes that like we weren't excited about that, and the only people that could actually excel like that were probably The Rock, and Stone Cold wasn't even like that. He had his own.
And you listed two guys. Yeah, that's two guys.
Everybody else had their weird kind of like Undertaker, Kane, DX had their own attitude, like, and Shawn Michaels had his own thing. Everybody back then.
And that's why, like, for like who's gonna win, I picked Taker because I love Wyatt, but that's like I almost feel bad for Undertaker. It's like Undertaker needs this win because he's got his streak and everything. Wyatt doesn't need it. It doesn't matter if Wyatt wins or loses. But at the end of fucking Wyatt, you know?
The end of the day, he did Sister Abigail. He attempted it about 4 times, and he had about a 50-50 win ratio. 2 of the times he got choke slammed or fucking like vintaged, and the other 2 he did Sister Abigail and his other signature moves to the Undertaker. The Undertaker, however, his cadence, like his life cadence was, I don't have any fucking time for this shit. I don't need this guy saying that he's the new face of fear. It sucks that the Undertaker isn't like a couple years younger, because they could have like a feud, and it seems like it would be a great feud.
And it's weird too, like with Wyatt, I feel like it's kind of like with his Cena run, where he lost a bunch, but it's still like, can you believe Cena actually fought me for 3 months in a row? Same thing here, where tomorrow on Raw, Wyatt could be like, can you believe Undertaker came back to fight me? That's amazing. Like, that's all he needs.
And that only pushes his gimmick, his fucking, like, where CM Punk was the voice of the voiceless, he's the voice of the people that don't feel like telling me about what they feel like. And Bray Wyatt, like, a lot of people hate him. Like, a lot of the smarks hate him because they're like, oh, he's a fucking neckbeard. But he's the fucking opposite of a fucking neckbeard. He's like the Joker, man. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He's lost to all the top superstars, but he keeps getting fed to the top superstars.
Yeah, and he really is like the real guy, fucking Wyndham. I feel like whenever you hear interviews with him, I feel like he's got a bad time coming. He's going to have a huge midlife crisis when he's like 35. But right now, he buys into it.
We have a lot of young wrestlers who are going to end up having storylines where they like bottom out. Even though this era of wrestling is so like clean, we're still going to see, you know, mid-carders fucking die of trying to get too roided again, or, you know, that shit.
I think too, like Bray Wyatt in a weird way reminds me of like when I was in like high school, where he really has this idea that he's like, I don't need anybody else on the roster. I don't need to be like anyone else. I barely am a part of this. I can just be my own thing. Like, he's always talking about how like, I created my own character. I picked my own music. No one helped me. No one got me where I am. That's clearly not true. He's part of this machine, but he believes it. He believes that he did everything by himself, and it's like makes him awesome. Yeah, I like that guy a lot.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So the Undertaker wins. Undertaker is now 22-1.
He did a last ride on a diamond limo, and I mean, what can you do after that?
Like, we're all dead now. The world exploded. But, I mean, the Undertaker streak lives on. He has 1 loss and has another victory, I guess. And he's like, he's the fucking Undertaker, and he's an old man. But he looked like kind of young tonight, but I don't know. It was weird. It was kind of weird. It was like the complete polar opposite of watching him lose the streak last year. It's like, oh, he came out and wrestled a pretty decent match with a wrestler we all like. And it had like a regular WrestleMania style finish where they fucking did their finishes to each other for like 10 minutes, and it was fun. Like, you know.
Yeah, it was really a shame that the sun didn't go down. That would have helped a lot.
Oh, we didn't talk about the fact that Bray Wyatt had the scarecrows with him.
Yeah, I was hoping that this would go. Oh, yeah, when he came down,
one
he
of
had
the best entrances.
Yeah, he had scarecrow dudes like kind of popping up and like following him in like a weird robotic manner.
May or may not have been Terminators. We can't.
Yeah, they were probably all Terminators. But the Undertaker, he came out in the daytime with just smoke and like fire. Like, it was literally like his nighttime entrance, but in the daytime.
Well, here's something I want to ask. So in the literal like 2 months leading up to this, it's just been Bray Wyatt talking to himself because they didn't want to reveal Undertaker. Do you think that was worth it to have like, oh, here you go, you get to see the Undertaker for tonight? Maybe it would have been better if the goddamn Undertaker just showed up on Raw, that lazy old fuck.
He should have at least like showed up and like looked Bray Wyatt in the eyes at the Go Home Raw.
How do you feel about that, Mike? Do you think it was worth it to like, oh, we finally get to see the Undertaker tonight? Like,
I mean, no, because he's just an old man. But
he looks just like always, right? There's nothing different.
Yeah, I mean, the reveal meant nothing to me, but I did enjoy. If anyone can handle doing promos by themselves, it's Bray Wyatt.
All right,
he was killing those promos every week.
So yeah, Undertaker won, and you know, I'm getting used to this Rey Mysterio mask. I feel like if I got laser surgery, so I didn't need glasses, I could literally wear a luchador mask all day, every day.
I got a laser. I can give you laser surgery.
Yeah, have you done it before? You good at it?
Fuck no.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's fine.
Just open your eyes. What can you see? It's the laser in your eyes have personality.
So my original idea, though, with Undertaker is I was like, it would be cool if they left that till last so it'll be darker, and that I also didn't trust that Lesnar Reigns would be a good main event.
But what if the Undertaker Bray Wyatt match was the main event?
Yeah, no, they did the right thing.
It ended like 75, 85, 95% of wrestling, even Raws, should end, where something fucking happens. We're at the main event.
Yeah, the main event.
Yeah, we're at the main event.
I can't believe how well it turned out.
Yeah, no, I haven't read the internet yet. I'm very fucking swayed by what the internet pundits say.
But this is crazy, right? Because, so obviously the crowd has hated Reigns for the last 2 months, ever since he won the Rumble. But it seemed like WWF was like, look, we're not doing what we did last year. Just because you like Daniel Bryan, we're not going to change the main event.
Their formatting for this year's WrestleMania was like the opposite of last year. I felt like the entire story arc of WrestleMania 30 was Daniel Bryan. And this year, it went back to more like a WrestleMania 28, 29, where... No, this was a different WrestleMania than any WrestleMania come previous.
Like, I really felt like this was like WrestleMania remix, because I was thinking about it one day.
No, I agree with you 100%.
The obvious matches were, obviously you want Daniel Bryan to fight Brock Lesnar, you want Sting to fight The Undertaker, you could throw in, it would have made sense for Ziggler to fight Triple H because of the SummerSlam stuff. Reigns could fight Rollins. These are all the obvious matches. And they were like, none of that. Remix everything.
But what you instead do is build all these matches around ideas that make way more sense. And people were like really dogging on WWE for messing up the build up to WrestleMania. But they did a really good job. The payoffs for all the matches, the way they built them up, the payoff was fine. And not just because I could write this fucking shit in my sleep, but because it makes sense to the viewer of the populace who watches the WWE.
But that's what was amazing about this too. So it seemed like with Reigns Rollins, they were like, look, fuck you internet fans. We're doing Reigns Brock. They were like, look, we're doing this. And it doesn't matter what you think. Yeah. But then once it got here, they just destroyed Reigns. They fucked him in his asshole.
But they still made Reigns look strong in the main event.
Did they?
They gave him a moment where he did his Superman punch a couple times on Lesnar. But the rest of the match, he was fucking getting.
He was kneeled down outside the ring reading a Superman comic, and he's like, all right, I'll do this.
I want to talk about the fact that Reigns started strong. Hard-weighed Brock Lesnar, so he was bleeding out of his face.
Did he though?
Right, but then we got that whole shtick.
Or did Lesnar's own intensity make his own blood fly out of his body?
You know what, Keith? You're probably right.
I don't remember seeing Reigns do anything to Lesnar to make his head open up. I don't know what happened, but I don't know.
I didn't see it either. I have no idea.
I don't know how it happened either.
But after that, it's like, so early on, somehow Brock starts
let's back
bleeding.
it up for 1 sec. So Brock Lesnar enters the match. He gets so freaking ready to kill Roman Reigns that he starts bleeding out of his eyes. And then murders him. But, okay, look, I don't care to talk about this. Anybody that's this far in this podcast has watched this match. And this match was very good because it wasn't just John Cena getting fucking German suplexed at the end of SummerSlam. It wasn't even like... It was different than even I think it was the Royal Rumble the last time that John Cena and Brock Lesnar fought. It was different than that. Roman Reigns actually ends up sort of mounting an offense, but none of that fucking matters. Because
I gotta say, man, I had no hope for this main event, and I loved it.
We do not even get to the end of the match. Traditionally, and in a world where most people expect this to have happened to them when they're the champion, knowing farewell that the Money in the Bank holder might come down to the ring at any time, but traditionally, it's been reserved for a time when the champion would be ousted, and the new champion would be licking his wounds.
It kind of helped swerve me, too, that Rollins lost the match against Orton, because it put him out of my mind. I kind of forgot about him.
None of that even,
Because I was just like, yeah, whatever. He lost WrestleMania. Like, Rollins is done. We'll see what he does tomorrow.
Rollins
I forgot
fucking
about
just interrupts the match and pins not the champion.
Yeah.
That's the greatest finish to any match I've ever seen. It's this. I feel the same way about fucking Kevin Owens destroying Sami Zayn and getting a KO.
I think that's what's cool about Rollins is like, so like Wyatt, if I had to, if the US census was like, who's your favorite wrestler? I would say, okay, Bray Wyatt's my favorite. But realistically, Wyatt, week to week, I don't necessarily care what he's up to. Rollins really is my favorite because every Raw is based on Rollins. Like the whole company is based on Rollins. Like, he really is my favorite guy.
And people
week to
don't
week.
hate Rollins. And I feel like maybe like a year from now, it's been fucking Rollins still.
But yeah, and like at this point, it's actually important for Rollins
But they
to
put the
continue to
belt-
be kind of weaselly. Like this is
They
how
put
he
the
needs
belt
to
on
win.
the most weaseliest man.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night on Raw, I don't think that he's going to even be sure of himself that he is the champion.
You know what?
Because of there's the Dusty finish, the old school, like, Dusty Rhodes booking finish. I think that was the same way that Kevin Owens won with a fucking knockout to Sami Zayn. I think this was a Triple H finish.
Right, a Triple H finish. This is the start of his era.
Yeah.
I love too that I don't know, just like fuck, what was I gonna say? God damn it, Jason, take the show.
WrestleMania 31 was one of the best nostalgia inducing WrestleManias I have seen.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say.
Okay, you can cut all that out, but pass me that growl, you son of a bitch.
You know what I think was kind of the test run for this fucking WrestleMania outcome
Some beers?
I'm good.
was I think it was that
Drank too
triple.
much fucking duty-free vodka.
Yeah, bro.
Sorry.
That triple threat match it was at Royal Rumble, right? Where it was Cena, Lesnar, Rollins. I think that was kind of the test run for this because Rollins ruled that match. Rollins made that match amazing at Royal Rumble, and I think that was kind of the test run of like it made people accept the idea that Rollins can be the third man and he can dominate everyone and he can win, and that's okay.
So what happens when we finally get on SmackDown or on Raw and then SmackDown twice in a row, or then an entire feud based off of Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins? I'm worried that Dean Ambrose's storyline, I always view WrestleMania as the season finale, and I'm really worried that Dean Ambrose's storyline came to a finish tonight with that fucking destruction through a fucking ladder. That sucked. The way he took that, I can't remember even who gave it to him. Was it fucking Harper or was it Wyatt?
Well, you said Harper earlier, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
think
all I was
Harper.
focused on, I can't remember because of how fucking brutally he took that ladder.
But yeah, no, that's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to Raw tomorrow of fucking Rollins as champ. That's cool, and I mean, it's too cool too because literally every Raw, it's kind of been a pattern. But for the last 6 months, every Raw has been Rollins. It's all about Rollins, and it's all based around Rollins, and I'm okay with that. So they might leave the belt on him for ages. And I'd be okay with that.
Okay, Lesnar just re-signed. Is it we wake up tomorrow and TMZ is reporting that it was all a work? Or is Lesnar gonna fucking do, instead of barely 5 pay-per-views a year, he does 7 pay-per-views a year?
Well, that's interesting too.
Or
Is
8.
I saw Rollins's Brock's interview where he announced that he was giving up UFC and was staying with WWE. And yeah, he played it off my career in the octagon's done or whatever. But the underlying message was, I cannot legitimately fight people anymore, so I'm going to be a fake wrestler. So maybe that's where Vince saw he had a little power, and he's like,
Man, you know that Vince is fucking please, Brock, please. You're the guy, you're the only guy you're the reason why I'm even making money right now. Nobody else can carry the company. Nobody else can Bruno Sammartino the way that you can Bruno Sammartino. You can just hold the title, not wrestle, and everybody's on your side. And this guy that I'm building, who once you're gone and once he's been around for 4, Roman Reigns in 4 years from now, we're not we're gonna be so desensitized to it. It's gonna be lol, fucking Reigns wins, John Cena will be its manager for this pay-per-view, and then at the next pay-per-view, fucking Cena versus Sting. We're going into a real weird frontier for wrestling when it comes to WWE.
Curtis Axel versus Sting. It's obvious.
It's obvious. It's obvious.
But I do wonder that because I heard they signed Brock to like a multi-year deal this time. Like it's for real.
It's like a 3-year deal, man.
So maybe Vince was like, "Yeah, we're gonna give you this sweet deal and way too much money, but you're dropping the belt. Like we're done with this belt shit. You're done with that." I don't know. It's cool though.
Do you think Lesnar's feuding with Rollins after today?
I'm kind of thinking maybe Rollins and Randy Orton will keep going for a bit and just sidestep the fact that Brock lost the belt. Like Brock can go fight Reigns or do whatever, but just ignore the belt.
Based on his tenure in this current run, he can just be off TV for a while because it's post WrestleMania. Like WrestleManias are supposed to end with one of the top guys kind of like being aloof for a while, you know?
I think, though, in summary of the entire night, we can say there'll be no time for crying. And like the phoenix, we will rise again. Wow. Ooh. Get him, get him, get him.
Wow.
Go. Get him, get him, get him.
Wow.
Wow.
You can take a stab at my penis.
I tried earlier.
Get him, blah.
How long is this goddamn nonsense? Yeah, okay, so I guess that is good, right? That's our podcast. We did it.
Guitar solo. Okay, this has been Smarkamania, the episode where I don't get too fucking drunk and I continue all of my thoughts. All the haters and all the players out there, you better get on this pony train because I'm the most pony man. At any rate, thank you for listening. You can find me at Spider Hero pretty much anywhere. On Twitter, on Yahoo. This has been a Keith Courage production.
I hope that you remember me, but the dead ain't got no memory. You know who that is? You remember that shit? All right, we did it.
Spiderhero.com. No, it's YouTube.com.
Like I'm already calling an Uber. We're still recording.
You're a fucking hipster calling Ubers.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry that I like to save money.
All right, yeah, I'm going to stop this recording now. Mike, send us out.
I love you, I love you, I love you, and where you go I follow, and where I will follow you.
Getting,